ನೋಡಮ್ಮ ಈಗನೂ ಬರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ there is something wrong. Three waiting ಅಂತ ಬರ್ಲಿಗತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಇದು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ತಿಳಿಯಲಾಗ್ಯದ ನನಗ. ಹಾ ಬಂತು ನೋಡಿದ್ದು. ಇದು ಮೇ ಬಿ ಅದು ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ವಿಂಡೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕತ್ತಿದ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತದಲ್ಲ. ಎಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ. ಇದು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ಯದ ಅಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಇದಕ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ನೋಡು. ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಅದಲ್ಲ ನಡೀತದ. ಎಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬರ್ರಿ. ಓಕೆ. Can you hear me? Good evening. Can you hear me? If yes, just if you reply in the group, then we can start with the class. Okay, so let's begin with today's class. If you remember, just I am showing you what happened yesterday. Okay, it was all regarding rectification of error, and we were able to understand the two stages of rectification. I will once take you there. This is before trial balance, and this is after preparation of trial balance. And then today we have to come to the point to discuss after trial balance but before final accounts. Okay, so after trial balance but before final accounts, we will be discussing that today. Do you remember what we discussed yesterday? कल का आपको याद है? Now, what happens when you are rectifying after the final accounts? Now, what happens after final accounts? After final accounts is a stage where you are done with your final accounts, namely trading, profit and loss, and balance sheet. Namely trading, profit and loss account, and balance sheet. Okay, so these are already over, and earlier what happened, you maintained a suspense account, those all things were there. Now you are done with the trading and profit and loss account, but the errors what you rectify later stage will affect this profit and loss account. That means the profit or the loss asserted, because after rectifying the errors, the profit may rise or the profit may come down. Both chances are there. Okay, so that's why what we do here, first we need to understand what profit and loss account contains. Anyone who can tell me what profit and loss account contains by their comment on the YouTube or the group? What it contains? Anyone? What it contains? P&L account ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನಿರುತ್ತದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ತಾವು. Very good. It contains, instead of income and expenses, I write revenue and expenses. Okay, yes. Very good. Revenue and expenses, and in some cases the revenue is equal to income. That also we can understand. Next, what I do is, see, this is the result of this will be either profit or loss. So the rectification of these two will affect these two. Because of that, what I do, whatever account of rectification or whatever the rectification is done to revenue and expenses, that has to be recognized separately. That's why before I close the accounts of the year, all these revenues and expenses will be transferred to an account called as profit and loss adjustment account, where it will be transferred profit and loss adjustment account. Okay, so what is profit and loss adjustment account? It is a temporary account. You remember the suspense account we opened in the previous stage. Okay, like that, now what we are opening here, we are opening profit and loss adjustment account. I will tell you beauty of these two things. Now first let me come to the important account named as suspense account. Okay, which account? Suspense account. What is suspense account? I said, when there are one-sided errors, when there are one-sided errors, in order to continue the accounting process, the effect of these errors on the trial balance, either the debit or the credit will be shorter. That side will be replaced with this suspense account, and this suspense account only appears when there are one-sided errors. And remember, the moment you rectify all these one-sided errors, this suspense account closes automatically. That is the beauty of suspense account, right? What you need to remember about suspense account is, suspense account is a temporary account. Remember, what is suspense account? Suspense account is a temporary account. All of you, I want you to answer. What kind of account suspense account is? Suspense account is a temporary account. All of you type in the group or in the chat box that what kind of account this suspense account is. Suspense is a temporary account. And remember, the question of nature does not arises for suspense. Remember, it is not asset, it does not fall into the category of asset, liability, income, expenses, capital. Nothing will be applicable. If somebody asks, what is the nature of suspense account? No, it will not fall into the trap of this nature. It can shape into the form whichever error is there. If expenses error is there, it takes into form of expenses. Asset error is there, it takes into form of asset. So no nature is applicable. Now coming to profit and loss adjustment account. Okay. Speaking about this profit and loss adjustment account, this is also a temporary account. Remember. Done. Now, coming to the next point. What is the next one? The next one is how to rectify the errors. How to rectify. When it comes to the rectification of any account involving revenue and expenses. Why rectifying any account which involves these two heads, that is revenue and expenses, it will be replaced with the profit and loss adjustment account. It will be replaced with profit and loss adjustment account. You need to remember this. Okay. Let me take an example. Okay. For example, there is a transaction. What is the transaction? Now, wages paid for installation of machine debited to which account? Wages account. This is a transaction. Have you understood this transaction? Wages paid for installation of machine debited to wages account. Okay. If this is the transaction, the original entry as per capital and revenue concept, if I take into consideration capital and revenue concept, okay, because I just want to revise you the things, like as per the cost concept, value of an asset is equal to, do you remember students in the class I used to tell you PIT? Anyone who can tell me what is this PIT who have learnt under me? As per cost concept we have this PIT. What is PIT? कोई बताएगा ये PIT क्या है? The cost of the asset involves three things, that is PIT. What is PIT here? Waiting for your answers. Very good. Priyanka very rightly answered. Purchase, installation, another one is transportation. Okay. So these three are involved. And remember, this even purchase can also be sometimes considered as manufacturing, even that is also involved. So, but if we look at this concept, the wages paid for the installation of machinery should be debited to machine account. Okay. What is the right entry? The right entry would have been a machine account debit to cash account. But what has been passed? It is wages account debit to cash account. Or we can say, instead of this, we can say that in the cash book, they have written by wages instead of by machine. Are you clear with this? Now how to rectify this? Very simple. Cash does not require any rectification because cash book में rightly record किया गया है. तो कहां गलत हुआ है? गलत मशीन की जगह, सॉरी वेजेस की जगह हुआ है. वेजेस के बदले में किसको डेबिट किया गया है? मशीन. याद रखो, what has been debited? Machine instead of, sorry, what has been debited? Wages instead of machine. Now in order to rectify, what we need to do? We need to debit machine and we need to credit wages because wages has been wrongly debited. In order to rectify, we need to credit. Okay, so we will understand. I will tell you this rectification step. If I directly tell you, no, it is wrongly debited, that's why it has to be credited. ये शायद आपको पूरा समझ में ना आए. I will come to this later. Right, so entry will be machinery to wages. Now, what is wages? Wages is an expenses. Now, the expenses has to be replaced with what I said, an account named as profit and loss adjustment account. That's why the expenses will be now replaced with a name called as profit and loss adjustment account. Wherever expenses and revenue account appears, that has to be replaced with P&L adjustment account. Why we are doing it? Because temporarily we have transferred all the expenses and revenue balances to P&L adjustment account. It is because of that. Why we did that? Because we were about to close the we closed the books of this year, but still there were some errors which remained unrectified. That's why we are doing this. Are you clear? Are you clear with it? Or shall I summarize this once again? If you have understood, and if you want me to summarize it again, just comment on it so that I can understand, oh yes, we have to do it. Okay, you have understood and you want me to summarize, okay? Now, let me summarize this. 3 stages of rectification. If you remember, before also I wrote like this. First one was before trial balance. Second one was after trial balance. Then next was after financial statements, after final accounts, or we called it as correction in next accounting period. Okay. How these should be rectified? First, if it is before trial balance, correct it with statement. Correct it with statement. If it is after trial balance, now what I will do, just let me make it very clear. Again I divide. If it is before trial balance and if it is one-sided error and if it is two-sided error, what will be the case? If it is one-sided error, we correct it by statement. We correct it by statement. And if it is two-sided error, we do it with journal entry. Remember, whenever there is two-sided error, it will be rectified only by journal entry and there is no other way to correct it. Yes, Priyanka, you are right. Wages spent on installation of machinery is a capital expenditure. So this is a matter of capital and revenue. So when he debited wages, he treated it as revenue. We corrected it by treating it as capital and debiting the machinery account. Hope you are clear, Priyanka. Now, what happens if it is after trial balance? How to correct? One-sided error, two-sided errors. Now, one-sided error will be rectified with journal entry. Remember, after trial balance, everything will be journal entry, but when it is a one-sided error, it will be rectified through suspense account. It will be rectified through suspense account. It will be rectified through suspense account. Okay. Now, next is, I hope you have understood this. Now, after final accounts, that is correction in next accounting period, if that is the case, then what happens? It is same as above. How you're doing it above, it will be same. It will be same as it is above. Okay. But only changes whenever there is expenses or revenue account, it has to be replaced with profit and loss adjustment account. So this is the procedure of rectification. Have you understood this? Now, can you just text in the WhatsApp group, sir, we have understood the method of rectification. Now we can go for rectification. Anyone? Now Priyanka is asking, so the assets and other things must be kept same as after. Yes, after trial balance they remain same. Only profitability will be affected. Okay. Now, anyone who can say yes? Understood the methods of rectification? Okay, so we can proceed. Very good, very good. Very happy to see your responses. let's move on to the next. Now, we will take each type of error and we will see how it will be rectified, and then we will proceed to the ICAI examination problems. Okay, so before that, let us start by one. Principal error. Anyone who remembers this? Principal error. Now, let's take an example for this. Okay. And I will tell you why it is called as one-sided or two-sided error. And I will tell you always the principal errors are two-sided errors. Now, question arises, sir, why they are called as two-sided errors? Let me explain you with example. Just now we took that example, but I will just take a different example so that you can understand better. Purchase of machinery recorded through purchase book. Purchase of machinery recorded through purchase book. Now, let me tell you. First, what is machinery? Machinery is asset. Machinery is asset. And asset means what nature? Capital. Purchase book records what? Purchase book records credit purchase of goods. I am revising you this also. Credit purchase of goods. Now question arises, when it comes to goods, we call it revenue. We call it revenue because purchase, sale all fall under the category of revenue. So what happened here is a capital transaction is recorded as revenue. I said yesterday, if you remember, I drawn a diagram like this. Capital treated as revenue, revenue treated as capital. This is pure case of principal error. Pure case of principal error. Now, let us come to this journal entry part. What has happened here? It was supposed to be recorded as machinery account debit to cash account, but it has been recorded as purchase account debit to cash account. The sense, like when they recorded it, it means like this. Machinery to cash now has been recorded as purchase to cash. This is the real problem which has happened. Now what happens here is the amount and all is right because they have not mentioned anything about the amount. So we assume that amount is rightly posted. Happens is when they prepare trial balance, there will be two components. There was supposed to be two components, machinery and cash, but there will be purchase and cash. That's the only difference. For example, if it is for 1,000, then cash would have been resulted in 1,000 and purchase also shown as 1,000. The trial balance agrees. But only problem is with the name. Instead of purchase, now what they have taken? Machinery. Because of that, it will not affect the agreement of trial balance. The trial balance agrees because both the sides are totaled at 100. That's 1,000. Hence, this is called as two-sided error. If you remember, yesterday we defined it as the error which will not affect the agreement of trial balance, which will not affect the agreement of trial balance. You may feel that sir is going in a very detailed way. Arey boss, in order to answer true or false and the transactions, you need to know how an error is defined and how the nature is decided and why it is one-sided, why it is two-sided. Then you will be able to meet the ICAI expectation. Okay, otherwise you will never meet expectations of ICAI. आपको ನಿಮಗ PU board ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಂಜಿಕೆ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು. You should not fear for PU board, but you need to have fear of ICAI because that is something which is unpredictable. Now, let us understand how to rectify this. The rectification is, what has to be rightly debited is machinery account. What is wrongly debited? Purchase. Now, purchase has to be credited. So, this is the rectification entry. Machinery account debit to purchase account. I made you to remember in the class like the method of rectification in the form of a poem. Anyone who remembers that? If okay, now yes, now first let us understand the rules to remember while rectification. First, if an account is not debited, if an account is not debited, debited. Next, if an account is not credited, answer, credited. Then next is, if an account is, I hope you can understand if I put a symbol wrongly, this cross indicates wrongly debited. Then next is, if an account is wrongly credited, what happens? If it is wrongly debited, credited, because wrongly debit होगा ना तो compensate करने के लिए क्या करेंगे? Credit. And if it has been wrongly credited, then debited. Okay, now next is, if an account is, if an account is given excess debit, when I say plus excess, and if an account is given excess credit, what happens? When you give excess debit, in order to credit whatever excess you have given, you credit that. And if you have given excess credit, in order to bring it back, that excess part has to be debited. Next, if an account is given short debit and if an account is given short credit, what happens? If an account has to be debited 100 rupees, but it has been debited only 90. It was supposed to be debited 100, but if it has been debited only 90, it becomes you to debit it again for rupees 10 because that much was short. Same. If an account is given short credit, what it has been given? Short credit. Then what happens? You have to increase that credit. Okay. To do that, what we are doing? We are again crediting it. That you need to remember. Now, next is, this is how this. If you remember this, then it's going to be very easy for you to rectify the errors. Okay. Have you understood these rules? You can better understand them in the next few classes because we will be using them. Here we are not using them. We are just displaying them here, and we have not at all used them. So when we use them, definitely we are going to understand them very well. Now you can see all of them in a single window. If you want, you can take screenshot of this. You can call these as, I used to recite the students it as a poem. For example, in Hindi I used to tell, अगर तुमने डेबिट कम दिया है तो उसको फिर डेबिट करो, अगर तुमने क्रेडिट कम दिया तो ऐसा वी यूज्ड टू डू इट. राइट. चलिए. Now, I hope you have understood this part. Chalo. Very good. Oh, this technical boy, I don't know who is this technical boy. In commerce also we have technical boy. Okay. Okay, so we are done with the principal error. Now, let's come to clerical error, and in that clerical error, we will be discussing error of omission. Error of omission. Now, anyone who can tell me in the comment box what is error of omission? Error of omission का meaning? Okay, nobody able to define? What is error of omission? Yes, when errors are partially or fully omitted. अरे errors omit नहीं करते हैं यार, transactions को record करना या post करना omit करते हैं हम. Okay, now normally क्या होता है, ऐसा ही नहीं बट होता ऐसा ही है, रिकॉर्ड जो होता है वो फुल ओमिशन होता है एंड पोस्टिंग जो होता है वो क्या होता है, पार्शियल. हाँ, पोस्टिंग भी कभी कभी फुल्ली हो सकता है बट रेयरली फुल्ली होता है, अदरवाइज इट विल बी पार्शियल. ओके आदित्य, इट इज नॉट जस्ट रिकॉर्डिंग, इट इज अबाउट पोस्टिंग ऑल्सो. ओके नेक्स्ट, फुल और पार्शियल ये हो गया हमारा. नाउ लेट्स टेक एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ फुल ओमिशन. लेट्स टेक एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ फुल ओमिशन. Now, example is sale of goods for cash. Sale of goods for cash not recorded. When they say not recorded, it means neither the debit nor credit. Remember, I'm being very clear. Neither the debit nor credit is being recorded. That is called as full omission. Full omission. Okay, so that's why I said whenever it is not recorded, it will be full omission. What is the way to rectify? Very simple. You pass a rectification entry of recording that. That is cash account debit to sales account. This will be the rectification entry. Very simple. Now, coming to the partial omission. Coming to the partial omission. Let's take an example. Sale of goods to Mr. A. Sale of goods to Mr. A. Not posted to A's account. Not posted to A's account. See what he is saying here. He has not used the word recorded. He has used the word posted. And that posted or posting also is to A account. First, we need to understand how this will be recorded. As it is the credit sale of goods, it will be recorded in the sales book first. You all need to understand this point very well. Where it will be recorded? It will be recorded in the sales book first. Okay? And then, remember, the posting of the sales book is not done individually. I am revising you this fact. In case of sales book, the total of the sales book will be posted to the debtor's account and not individual transfers will take place. Okay. Next, what happens? In case of sales book, now we are done with it. So now the problem is only with A's account. Okay. What happened? Now, see, okay, first we will come to this. not posted to A's account. Let me come with A's account. A's account होना क्या चाहिए था A's account में? 2 sales. Assume the amount is 100. 2 sales क्या आना था? 100. पर आया क्या? No. What he has said, not posted to A's account. इसको मैं इधर अमाउंट कर देता हूं. सेल ऑफ गुड्स ₹100. ओके. 2 sales 100 आना चाहिए था, बट ही इज सेइंग दैट इट इज नॉट पोस्टेड. इट इज खाली खाली नाउ. हाउ इट इज? खाली खाली. अब क्वेश्चन आता है कि इसको भरा कैसे जाए. आई सेड यू कांट जस्ट राइट सिंपली. Now, effect of this on trial balance we need to check. If I prepare TB, trial balance of this, what will happen? In the trial balance, we will have 2 accounts, A account and sales account. As we credited sales, in the sales we will be finding 100. And as there is nothing in the A's account, here there will be nothing to show. As a result, what will be the total? 100 on the credit and on the debit side, nothing. So what has happened here? Now the trial balance is not agreeing. And you know that whenever the trial balance do not agree, this kind of error is called as one-sided error. Now I said, how to rectify one-sided error? Okay, now we will see. Two-sided error, the rectification remains same. So this remains same in all the cases. Because when it is not recorded, it is two-sided error. Whether it is before trial balance, after trial balance, it remains same. In the next accounting period, instead of sales, we use P&L adjustment account because sales is a revenue account. Okay, now let me come to this point. First, in case of before trial balance, I will take the steps here only. Now let me write here BT. If it is before trial balance, what I will do? I will write here two, I said it is before trial balance, it will be dealt in statements. कैसे deal करेंगे हम लोग? We will be dealing in statements. So I write 2 omission of posting. 2 omission of posting. How much? 100 rupees. This happens when the error is rectified before trial balance. Now question arises, sir, what happens if it is after trial balance, and what happens if it is after final accounts? Now, coming to this, A account, if it is after trial balance, what we will write? Instead of this, I write to suspense account. That's why the journal entry will be A account debit to suspense account. Amount is 100, and here it will be 100. Have you understood this? Now what happens if it is after trial balance? Sorry, after final accounts, it will remain same because no nominal accounts are involved. That means same step will be taken here. Same step will be taken here, because if a nominal account or if revenue and expenses account was there, instead of to suspense, we would have written to P&L adjustment. That's the only difference. Otherwise, nothing else. I hope you are clear. I hope you have understood these, whatever I have explained today. This is all about error of omission. And in that, partial omission and full omission. Are you clear? Now, can we close for today? Hope I have not bored you. I tried to convince it. Now, what I am feeling is I am able to explain you in more detailed way than classroom. Anyone who is feeling like that? Chalo. So by this way, I will sign off for today, and tomorrow again we meet with these classes and we will continue with error of commission. I hope if I go in detail with each error, that's not going to be a problem for you. Chalo, let's take leave and finish the class.